Welcome to the show. This is No Interference, and today it's going to be West Side and the Bull. No Sasquatch today. Long time no see. We had a little holiday break there during the season, but we are moving along into week 14 of the year. Season's coming to a close pretty soon. I don't know what to say.
Nitty gritty.
I enjoy football season. It's one of my favorite times of the year, so I always dread the close of it. But hey, we're going to get the playoffs, and so can't complain.
So we got plenty of football left.
So some news out there. Everyone's been waiting to see where Odell Beckham signs. He was borderline on his way to being Super Bowl MVP, and he tears his ACL, doesn't sign with a team. Everyone was waiting for this time of year, and now it's looking like maybe he's not going to sign with anyone. Worked out with the Bills, Giants, and Cowboys.
Apparently, he's not that far, as long as everybody thought in his progression for his injury.
I had read that he was having issues, I guess, with the physicals, and his checkups weren't coming back completely clean. I mean, he definitely, he started his NFL career path. It was like Hall of Famer, Browns, kind of came back up with the Rams.
Just Browns go down every time.
I mean, he's a good receiver. However, not his best. He had great hands, but his athleticism was what put him into elite status. And if he's hobbled, teams are bringing him in to be, at this point here, to be a game changer. They're not bringing him to be a bench rider. So
yes, the Rams did last year.
If he's not good to go, he's not good to go. I do think realistically, Giants are still the best fit.
Same.
It would be coming back home, reunion. And then the Giants are a solid team. I mean, Daniel Jones isn't like lighting it up really ever. But I mean, who are their receivers? Wan'Dale Robinson was looking good. He's out for the year. Kenny Golladay is just big old waste of money. Mm-hmm. Darius Slayton. I've always been a big Darius Slayton fan.
A lot of drops.
But he pops off here and there, but he's not consistent. And
Charlie Shepard can't see the field.
Oh, yeah, he just can't see. Yeah, he's constantly hurt. And then you saw against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, they were in that game, but when they needed to throw it, like they weren't able to throw. And once the Cowboys bottled up the run game in the second half, that's when they lost it. So
indeed, they did.
Just looking at it, I don't think the Bills need him, especially if he's not going to be ready to go. Same thing with the Cowboys. Honestly, I think the Cowboys issue, I've always said it, I think it's a little bit of a Dak issue. I think he's a good quarterback, not great. They have all the weapons they really should need. And with that defense, it's just don't be stupid with the ball. So I think the Giants, it makes the most sense for both sides.
Yeah, and the Colts really fell apart against the Cowboys there too, making the defense look even better.
So I was kind of torn because being a Titans fan, I was like, all right, get that extra, keep that lead in the division so the Titans can still figure things out and get in the playoffs. At the same time, I was like, man, I really would like to see the Cowboys get upset by the Colts.
It was a game in the first half, and then second half, oh my God, some of the ugliest football I've ever seen in my life.
Turnovers. It was the Malik Hooker revenge tour.
Yeah, right. He started off on the Colts.
People don't even remember he played on the Colts because he never saw the field.
Yeah,
he's hurt all the time.
Yep, they have bad luck with safeties.
But we'll see what happens with OBJ. I mean,
if he can contribute, he can contribute. If not, like you said, there's no point in signing him until he's ready to go, score touchdowns.
So hey, maybe sometimes people do just need to take an entire year off. He did get hurt in the Super Bowl. It's not like he got hurt in the middle of the season.
Yeah, Chase Young's not even back yet. It's been over a year with his knee injury, and he's got 7 years younger than OBJ.
Something like that.
6. Yeah.
Moving along. Unfortunately, for the 49ers, Jimmy G, he gets hurt against the Miami Dolphins. has a break. I think they broke 2 bones in his foot. Originally ruled out for the year. Now they're saying he can potentially come back during the playoffs, but that's still a lot of games.
Yeah, that's all Shanahan said. They can't. They shouldn't even bet on that either. So
Yeah, and that's the thing with
most
Jimmy
likely done for the
G.
year.
Love him or hate him, he wins a lot, but he also misses a lot of games. And equally rough for the 49ers. They lost Trey Lance for the year with a. Did he break his foot or did he break his ankle?
I thought it was his ankle, but it could be either one.
But still, lower
No
body injury.
No look at all for the Niners.
And let me just pull up Jimmy G's stats real quick.
Garoppolo. Best season of his career so far.
I can never spell his last name right. It's 2 P's.
Definitely 2 P's, PP.
So looking at his stats, and we know the 49ers game plan. They got an offensive genius in Kyle Shanahan. They like to run the ball. They got Christian McCaffrey, Eli Mitchell's here and there when he's healthy. They put Debo in the backfield, and then their defense has been playing lights out this year. But on the year this season, Garoppolo has passed for 2,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 67 completion percentage. So he's having a solid year. He's not putting up the sheer numbers he put up when they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but he's being efficient. He's got 103 quarterback rating, second highest of his career, and he just fits the team. Play safe. Then I've always said the knock on Jimmy G is he's a super safe quarterback until it's the most important moment of the game, and then that's when he turns it over. But the 49ers have to weather this storm. They're going to have to go, honestly, do what they've been doing. Run the ball, play good defense. I think Kyle Shanahan's going to do his best to not put the rookie quarterback – not rookie. Is he a rookie?
I'm not sure. I don't even know who it is.
Mr. Irrelevant. They're going to do their best to not put him in bad situations and realistically keep the ball out of his hands. And I think they'll be fine. Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember somebody made a joke about that when I was at work the other day because his first name Brock, but his last name's Purdy. I think it's Brock's Purdy. It's a super frat bro. We'll see though.
He was Mr. Irrelevant of the 2022 draft.
Nick Bosa, leading the league in sacks, keeps that up.
Yeah, they got. Look, the team's honestly the team's loaded. Like for what everyone said this year, put Aaron Rodgers on this team, they're undefeated.
I do think the days of having a subpar quarterback though and winning Super Bowls is over.
The rules just make it harder.
Yeah, but they got Mahomes. If Niners go against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, if the Niners make it that far,
their defense is they haven't allowed a score in the second half. They haven't allowed an opponent to score in the second half in like 6 straight games.
Yeah, playoff football is a different beast.
That is true. Not to be that guy, but like we just went over Jimmy G's numbers, they're not eye popping. He's just smart with the football.
He's doing his job.
They got if you're throwing to Christian McCaffrey isolated on a linebacker, that should be a wide open throw. Mm-hmm. They move Debo all over the formation to get him ball in space, wide open throw. George Kittle on these crosses and deep routes when he's healthy, you're just throwing the ball and letting him run after it. The only player that they really rely on to be get open on a good route is Brandon Ayuk, and put the ball out there and let him go fight for it. He might not get it, but he's not gonna sell you out either, unless it's that one play against, was it the Seahawks, where he dropped the ball and the goal line and it got intercepted.
He had a rough start to the season, but he's picked it up overall.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, the other breaking news this past week: the Tennessee Titans fired their GM Jon Robinson after giving him an extension this about 6 months ago, and after being with the team for 6 years and having one of their best stretches in franchise history.
Pretty ironic they do it after they play AJ Brown.
Well, that's what everyone was saying. AJ Brown got Jon Robinson fired, and AJ Brown actually tweeted something about that, and then typical AJ Brown, he deleted it shortly after.
Yeah.
I don't not to get sidetracked, but I don't know why people do that. Like, especially if you're a celebrity and you put a tweet out there, it's out there forever. Like, so I don't even know why you bother deleting it. Like, it doesn't fix anything. Yeah. It's like
everybody saw it.
It's like if we were hanging out and I was just like insulted you and I was just like, forget that. Like, no, like you're still gonna remember what I said.
Delete. You mean like when judges tell the jury to strike what they just said?
Strike the comment.
I'm going to erase it from my memory and not use it at all in some deliberation back here.
So you can if you have your opinions as more of an outsider, let me know. But as a Titans fan, this is how I see it. The Titans have relied on this what am I trying to think of? This culture and theme of toughness, run the football, play honestly not good defense, but tough defense, and win the games you're supposed to, and then have a few upsets throughout the year, and you're gonna get in the playoffs. And it's worked. Titans are on pace for their third straight division win, and they've gone to the playoffs. I think it's like 5 out of 6 years Jon Robinson's been the GM. And even the year they didn't go, they still had a winning record. But they've consistently let players go and then had done a poor job at drafting replacements. Look at Isaiah Wilson in the first round, Caleb Farley in the first round. Both debatably, actually not debatably, they both pretty much are bust. Made questionable picks.
Caleb Farley just had surgery, didn't he? He's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the year. Probably his career basically over. He can't stay healthy. They traded it up last year to draft Dez Fitzpatrick, who I'm pretty sure didn't even make it through his rookie year before they released him. And they traded it up and drafted him right in front of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, yeah. That was a hit by the Lions.
Yeah. There's just been constant misses. And, like, you can look at, they got Jeffrey Simmons. Well, he was a top 5 pick who got hurt, and they took a shot. They got Derrick Henry. Well, Derrick Henry honestly should not have fell as far as he did in that draft. AJ Brown. AJ Brown was a weird story. I know I and other people were really high on him, but he was a big slot receiver at Ole Miss, so no one was really sure how he was going to be. And that whole draft class was weird.
It was loaded.
It was loaded, but just the order of it is just surprising.
Yeah.
And then this coming into this year, I right away was like, the Titans roster is not that good. Their O-line is awful. They have no receivers. Their corners are awful still. It's a little shocking that he was fired at this point. Amy Adams, the Titans owner, came out and basically said, hey, thank you. We're happy that we've built a winning team, but just winning is not enough. Like, they're happy to be at this point, but it's the end goal is be competing for a Super Bowl, not just getting by, and also in a weak division of all things.
Yeah.
There's also rumors that it kind of got into a point where it was him or Vrabel, and Vrabel is the coach of the year. In my opinion, if you look at the talent he's had, one of the better coaches in the league. But it is weird firing your GM in the middle of the year. I think the last team to do it was the Jaguars and the Browns like
Yeah,
a couple years
I,
ago.
I agree. I think the only thing really off, like you said, is the timing of it all. It doesn't really make sense to do it in week 14 of the season. But he's definitely not done a great job from what, not just you said and what I've seen with some of these
Yeah.
players when it comes to the scouting and the actual,
Well,
I guess,
I read.
research they're doing behind the scenes.
I need to do better. I'm awful about bringing up stuff people wrote and not remember who wrote it. Someone wrote that Jon Robinson, he would mortgage the future just enough to keep the team competitive, but not enough to push them over the edge with like the elite teams.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't save enough. So like even next year, the Titans are kind of screwed cap wise, and so the options are going to be redo the entire salary of the team or go into a rebuild.
Not your best options.
But yeah, that does it. That's basically the big news. I mean, unless you care about Baker Mayfield going to the Rams, but I assume no one really cares about that.
I mean, I think he's going to start. That's the only news really there. I think they don't have anybody else since John Wolford hurt his neck.
The season's just a wash for the Rams. They got their Super Bowl, and now they're kind of paying the price.
They sold out for that one Super Bowl. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, a lot of people started giving up on Baker Mayfield and his talent overall.
I feel bad. I've always been kind of a Baker guy. I know he rubs people the wrong way, but
I'm a Baker guy. It is what it is. I've said it.
I mean,
times.
he's undersized, but he's a fighter. He typically wants to get out and move, throw the ball downfield, be aggressive. I think he needs like a true fresh start on like a bring him in like similar to what Tannehill with the Titans. Titans had a solid roster. They brought him in, and once he got an opportunity, he didn't look back. The Panthers are just god awful, and it just seemed weird from the get. And now look at the Browns sent him away, and Deshaun Watson. I mean, he looked awful.
I can't believe they won that game, but I was looking at his highlights.
Well, because it was against the Texans, who only have one win of the year. But yeah, looking back at last week, like we got Thursday Night Football, the Bills beat the Patriots. That's expected. Steelers. Yeah, the Steelers eked out a win against the Falcons. Kenny Pickett looked. He's making steps. I am impressed. And it's also the Falcons. The Falcons are a really tough team, but they somehow find a way to lose.
You see, they're starting Desmond Ridder now.
Oh, really?
Going forward.
I mean,
it's the Ridder show.
Season's basically over. Yeah. You look at the Ravens Broncos. Lamar Jackson got hurt. It looks like he's going to miss a week, maybe two. But it comes down to, again, Broncos defense basically played lights out, and the Broncos offense could not score any touchdowns, settled for field goals. Right. Ravens win 10-9. Packers beat the Bears. What's new? Aaron Rodgers kind of owns the Bears.
Now the Packers are the most winning franchise in NFL history, aren't they?
Yep. The Lions crushed the Jaguars. I think their first 6 possessions was like touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown.
And that's without Jameson Williams coming back and Amon-Ra St. Brown leading the charge.
They're going to be good. Like, the defense needs to be fixed, but they do have talent. It's just the defense is just kind of broken.
Can Goff be the guy?
Draft a quarterback, but Goff, if the defense was better, this team would be potentially in the playoffs, especially in the NFC.
Is weak.
Yeah, the Browns, they beat the Texans in Deshaun Watson's debut. I think they scored 2 defensive touchdowns. I know at least one, but I think it was 2. That really helped them.
Especially with 0 touchdowns and a pick.
Yeah. The Vikings beat the Jets. Mike White's star lost a little bit of that shimmer, but
he got robbed with a touchdown too.
Better than Zach Wilson. The Commanders Giants, they tied 2020 in overtime. I mean, Jahan Dotson, that touchdown.
What a play, man.
The catch, the spin, to get in the game.
Should have tackled after. Oh man, it was just.
Yeah.
It was some beauty. I was in there just in awe. I was like, he really just did that. This is why we drafted him.
Yep. I mean, hey, if you
Playmaker.
look at the NFC East. It's just, I know it's
NFC beast.
no one's happy about the tie, but I mean,
That's
better
better
than
than
a
a
loss.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can say. Taylor
Then
Heineke said it best. He said it feels like a loss, but it's not a loss. I'm like, I
yeah,
feel you there, brother.
you get to the Titans Eagles. I don't even want to talk about that game. Eagles win 35-10. Eagles run game wasn't quite there, but who cares about that? Jalen Hurts had 300 yards passing, or almost 200 yards passing in the first quarter. The first half had 3 touchdowns in the first half. AJ Brown friggin' got a 40-yard touchdown called back for stepping out of bounds. The very next play, he runs over a DB on a double go and walks in the end zone for a 40-yard touchdown the very next play. And then the
Needed
Titans said, Jon Robinson, you can pack your stuff and leave.
that.
Let's see. The Seahawks beat the Rams, but we've already gone over the Rams' struggles. The 49ers were able to get the win over the Dolphins to kind of put the clamps on Tua and that offense. The biggest game of the week potentially was the Bengals-Chiefs. Bengals were down 14 points at one point. They come back to win. Joe Burrow's 3-0
against the Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Regular season of playoffs.
Really
yeah, just I don't know. I guess he's the Chiefs' kryptonite.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say it with Joe Burrow. As long as he is not on his back, he's going to win.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the Bengals had a little bit of a rough start to start the season too. They now, bam, they're right back in the playoff form from last year.
Let me get some food real quick.
Take a time. Some airplane peanuts over there.
It's hard to completely rebuild your O-line in one season, off season, and have it gel right away. So it took them about 10 weeks to get going, and they're playing well. And with the breakout of Samaje Perine,
oh man, it's awesome to see that. As a former Redskin, or was a Washington Redskin.
I was a big Perine fan.
I had him in fantasy two weeks in a row now. Started for Joe Mixon having a concussion, and he's done nothing but greatness.
I had him in fantasy when he was on Washington his rookie year. Had a couple of TDs to carry my teams back then. Mm-hmm. He's a great backup. Big boy.
Catch the ball, makes plays after the catch.
Jamar Chase is finally back healthy.
Tyler Boyd had a bad drop. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty ugly.
He'll be all right. Yeah, moving on. Chargers lose to the Raiders. Chargers are going to Charger, right? What else do you say?
Devontae Adams is what I'm going to say.
Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs really turned it on. That's great to see after the injury riddled last year.
He's going to run away with.
Risked him again in fantasy.
He's going to run away with probably the rushing lead.
Mm-hmm. We had a 300-yard game. That's what happens.
But it's like take out the 300-yard game and he still is having like 150 yards left and right. It seems like
killing it.
We talked about the Colts Cowboys game. It was kind of an interesting first half, and then the Cowboys were like defense mainly was like okay, let's.
I was excited for a good competitive game. I've had a feeling the Cowboys would still pull out in the end, but that skyscraper crumbled. Matt Ryan, whole crew couldn't handle it. The pressure.
Yeah. And then the Monday Night Football was Tampa Bay, New Orleans. New Orleans had the lead. Mark Ingram already came out saying that he was mad about not getting that first down, but Saints punt the ball. Bucks go score a touchdown. Saints get the ball back for like 2 minutes, go 3 and out, punt the ball, and then the Bucks go 99-yard drive to win the game.
I'm telling you, if you want to make some money, bet on Tom Brady leading a game-winning drive, especially against the Saints. I just it's crazy because he just does it every time. He knows where to throw the ball to save time. His team obviously has to be on the same page, which doesn't happen for everybody. There's a lot of confusion sometimes, and there's pressure last 2 minutes of the game. Less than that time-wise.
The worst part. The worst part is the Saints are doing bad and the Eagles have their first round pick. So the number one seed in the NFL as of now has a top 5 draft pick because of the Saints.
Yep.
So everyone can thank the New Orleans for that one.
This is the only other time Tom Brady's come back from a deficit like that with that amount of time, or no, actually, I don't think the time matters, was against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. He's lost every other game when he had that high of a lead to come back on.
Well, looking forward to Week 14. It's Thursday night, so we got Oakland, Las Vegas versus LA, Raiders at the Rams tonight. That I imagine, unless something happens, the Raiders are going to run away with that. I actually haven't had time to check. I heard a report that Baker might start tonight, but I don't think he is.
I had heard it. Yeah, I'd heard he was going to start because they had him apparently as soon as he started to fly out to LA. They had him on a call with the playbook, already looking at it like a tablet, like trying to go through all the plays, getting it down. They do have the other guy though, the rookie speedster. It's a number like 18 or something like that. I can't remember his name. The quarterback.
I'll have to look him up. Well, looking at the rest of the slate of games, it's a solid week. Looking at the 1:00 games, we have the Jets at the Bills. If the Jets want to stay alive in the AFC wildcard hunt, they gotta bring it this week. Bills are getting healthy. They're getting close to full strength, so you've got to watch out for them.
Sauce Gardner versus Stephon Diggs. Give me some popcorn because I'm ready to watch that.
You got the Browns at the Bengals. I think Deshaun Watson's still going to be rusty, so we'll see. Texans, Cowboys, no one cares about that. Like, I don't want to see. I'm not watching the Cowboys beat up on another bad team. Vikings, Lions might be the sleeper game of the week. Lions have been looking really good the last few weeks. Vikings are still sitting there at 10-2.
Their losses are ugly losses.
Yeah, they've been just dragged by both the Eagles and the Cowboys.
They should have lost by 10 to us too, but we played ourselves out of that.
Yeah, and potentially should have lost to the Bills too. So that might be a game of the week. Then we got Eagles at the Giants. I know people are going to say division game, anything could happen. Giants, I think, swept the Eagles last year, if I remember correctly. I think the Eagles are hitting their stride. I mean, they've probably been hitting their stride all year, but I think everything's clicking right now. They seem to have fixed some issues with the run defense. Jordan Davis is back. The addition of Sue seems to really be helping. I don't know if they're going to get what's their safety? Gardner Johnson?
Yeah.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be back yet, but I'm still taking the Eagles. Ravens at Steelers. That's only interesting because Lamar's not playing. Otherwise, I'm all about the Ravens taking that one, but it'll be closer now. Titans at Jaguars. That might be an interesting game, but the AFC South is miserable. And the Titans have looked so bad. Who knows? Maybe the Jaguars can upset them. We got the Chiefs versus the Broncos. I really have no interest in watching Broncos football for years because of how bad the offense is just disgusting.
Are they in prime time again?
No, that's 4:00.
Yeah, they should have all 1:00 games for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is just I don't.
Poop.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Panthers at Seahawks. Look for the Seahawks to get up to 8-5.
Need them to lose.
We have the Bucks at the 49ers. No Garoppolo, but that 49ers defense is just playing next level. I still like the Niners in that game. And then I'm sure when they made the schedule, they're thinking, Sunday night, week 14, Dolphins at the Chargers. That's going to be so cool. No, Chargers suck. And then
unfortunately,
Monday Night Football, we get Patriots at the Cardinals. I don't really like either of these teams, but give me Bill Belichick over Cliff Kingsbury any day.
Yeah, his defense. I mean, there's been a few games obviously where they're giving a point to some great teams, but overall, that defense could pitch a shutout to certain teams. So better watch out for Kyler Murray get laying an egg. And unfortunately, I have him in fantasy.
I mean, don't let DeAndre Hopkins beat you, and you pretty much win.
DeAndre Hopkins ain't too happy with Kyler Murray right now. From the footage I saw.
I don't think anyone's happy with Kyler Murray. Just we've been on Kyler Murray a lot, but they gave him that big contract, and Cliff Kingsbury's probably getting fired after this year, and they're probably trying to get out of the Kyler Murray contract. And
poor Arizona. They had the potential.
It's almost like it somewhat reminds me of the Jaguars when they had their little Saxonville run. And it's like after their year when they got knocked out by the Patriots, had they have given Blake Bortles that big, like a $250 million, like imagine they gave Blake Bortles a $250 million contract. And
is he a backup somewhere now, or even in the league? I know he's not retired officially, but I haven't seen him in forever.
Where was he?
I'm gonna just Google it because I'm really curious. I've not seen Blake Bortles. Oh, the other way. By the way, that quarterback for the Rams is Bryce Perkins.
I can't remember where Bortles was. I kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, he had that playoff run, yeah.
Yeah. So I figured at this point we could look at the standings in the league currently. Let me pull that page back up.
He was on the Saints as a backup. 2021, so I don't know if he's still anywhere.
I mean, if you're fine with holding the clipboard and getting a paycheck, you can definitely last a long time.
Oh, apparently he just announced his retirement on Pardon My Take, October 5th of this year.
Good for him.
Because Andy Dalton got signed by the Saints, so he asked for Bortles was like, okay, well, if I'm not gonna be the backup, I'm out of here.
So as of now, this is the current playoff picture. In the AFC, Bills are the 1 seed, Chiefs are the 2 seed, Ravens 3, Titans 4. In the AFC, in the NFC, Eagles 1, Vikings 2, Niners 3, Bucks 4. I feel fairly confident with those seedings right now, for the most part. Especially with this Lamar Jackson injury, I think the Bengals might come out to take the AFC North. Originally, I was fine with the Ravens. They have a fairly easy schedule, so I was just like, I don't think the Bengals will possibly be able to keep up. I mean, they won't have a chance to leapfrog them. But now with Lamar being out potentially 2 weeks, I think the Bengals are arguably the hottest team in the league right now. So I think the Bengals can take the AFC North. And then similarly, and I don't even want to say it because I like them, with the Jimmy Garoppolo injury, do the Seahawks maybe jump the Niners?
I think they have a chance to with Jimmy G going down, and with if Geno Smith keeps it up.
I mean, they're only
defense keeps it up.
They're only one game behind. But if we look at the teams that are in the hunt, right? So right now in the AFC, Cincinnati is the first wild card, followed by Miami and then the New York Jets. They're 8-4, 8-4, and 7-5. It's week 14, so what we got? 14, 15, 16, 17.
18. Don't forget about 18.
So there's still plenty of time left. How do you feel about these these wildcard teams? Again, it's Cincinnati, Miami, and then New York Jets. Well, do you like them holding where they're at, or Is there another team you potentially like? Because you could say in the hunt, New England 6-6. The Chargers, if they could ever get stuff figured out, they're 6-6. Herbert's never gone to the playoffs. I mean, still a young career, but he's never gone yet.
Yeah, I really think that, like you said, the Ravens are going to fall. The Bengals are going to leapfrog the Ravens, which then would put the Ravens into a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Jets could easily fall out this week alone against the Bills. They'll go down to 7-6 probably. So if the Patriots right there pops them in, it was what? Who was the other team? There's one more team.
Miami.
Right? Miami. I think Miami can finish out. I mean, I think they still have one of the best squads in the league. So
I think
strong.
in the AFC, it's pretty much locked up the top 6. It's going to be Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Miami. I think that 6 is locked. So then you're fighting for the last wild card, and you got right now it's the Jets, but New England is 1 game behind. The Chargers are 1 game behind. You could go on a little bit of a reach and say maybe if Deshaun Watson has a quick turnaround back to his form, 3 years ago now, the Cleveland's sitting at 5-7.
Small chance for them.
Could they win out and get to 10-7?
They'd still be relying on others to lose to control their destiny.
Similar to the Raiders, they're 5-7. I don't think they can win. I don't know if they can win out. Their whole team is reliant on 3 players. It's Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and
Derek Carr.
No, they're defensive end.
Crosby.
It's literally Crosby disrupts the other team's quarterback enough, and then Jacobs and Devontae Adams just put the entire team on their back. I don't think they're built to win out. I like Cleveland's defense a little bit more, and then they have Nick Chubb. But again, realistically, the way
played football in so long is what it is.
Realistically, the way you're looking at it, I think the top 6 in the AFC is locked. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll cut off the wild card at Cleveland. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to get in. So you have 5 teams basically fighting for one more spot
in the hunt.
It's going to be interesting.
Agreed.
Going to be interesting. Now let's
the NFC.
flip to the NFC. So we already went over your division winners. Eagles are 11-1. Vikings are 10-2. 49ers are 8-4, and then Tampa Bay is 6-6. In the wild card as it stands, the first wild card is the Dallas Cowboys at 9-3. The Giants are 7-4 and 1, and then Seahawks are 7-5. Let's see. The Eagles. Just real quick. Oh, go ahead. What were we saying?
It's just like because this week the Eagles play the Giants, and then right after that Washington plays the Giants. So if the Eagles beat the Giants are tied with us, same record, 7-5-1. Then whoever wins between Washington and New York will get that last playoff spot, most likely, depending on obviously the last 2 games of the season. But
yeah, I mean, if you look at this, Eagles realistically are going to hold their lead in the division. They got a 2-game lead over the Cowboys. I think they have an easier finish to the season. The Vikings, they have the Vikings are winning their division. They got a 5-point lead, a 5-game lead over second. San Fran, they're 8-4. Seattle's right behind them 1 game. And the Tampa Bay is only 6-6, but their division isn't that good. The Falcons are 1 game behind. But if you look at this division, Tampa Bay has Tom Brady, and the Bucs defense is still respectable. I'm still taking Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So that takes us to looking at teams in the hunt. Dallas is 9-3. They're good. But then you got Giants 7-4-1, Seattle 7-5, Washington 7-5-1. And then after that, it drops to 3 teams with 5 wins: Detroit, Green Bay, and Atlanta. So Dallas is locked up. So top 5 spots are locked up.
Odds are 3 teams from the NFC East are going.
Let me look up Seattle's rest of the season for them.
I really hope they lose out.
Let me pull. I got it up right here. So Seattle, they go home against Carolina. That should be a win. Then they go home against 49ers. Is that Monday night? Yeah, Monday night. No Jimmy G, but that defense, I don't know. Then they go at Kansas City. That's rough. Then they're home against the Jets and then home against the Rams. So let's say at best they're winning 3 more games, okay? That takes them to 10-5.
10-7.
10-7. Then let's look over the Giants' rest of their schedule. Giants are at Philadelphia. I'm sorry, home against Philadelphia, at Washington, at Minnesota, home against Indianapolis, at Philadelphia. So I'm saying at best they're getting 2 wins. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
So that takes them to 9-4-1. Then we got Washington.
9-4. What?
They're the next
2 more
team
losses.
up. Washington, they're on a bye. Then it's home against the Giants, at the Niners, home against the Browns, home against the Cowboys.
Giants will be 9-6-1, by the way. If they get 2 wins.
Yes.
Oh, I lied. 9-7.
Then Washington is going to be 9. So, okay, so if the Giants and Washington both end up 9-7-1, 9-7-1, and they split.
Whoever wins the game against whoever wins is that matchup will win the last spot, because the tie obviously goes. Both teams are split, and then whoever gets the win over the other team will have.
Oh yes, yeah, I completely forgot about the dumb tie. Yes, so yeah, week 15.
That's why they flexed that game to Sunday night. It's going to be a huge game.
I need this insider information. So that might decide it. And it's a
depending on what happens with the Seahawks though, and the
Washington home game. That literally could be the playoffs right there.
And then I think all 4 teams can still make it, depending on how the other, like Seahawks and all them do.
Yeah, well, we looked at it with Seahawks. We think are probably getting to 10 wins. Probably anything goes in the NFL. I just want to look at the Lions' schedule. They're a little bit out, but just to look, they're home against
up again.
They're home against Minnesota, at the New York Jets, at Carolina, home versus Chicago, and then at Green Bay. So let's just say they win 4 or 5, just playing devil's advocate. That takes them to 9-8. They would still be out because of the tie, right?
Mm-hmm. The tie.
So that's a tough break for the Lions. But I mean, they're a fun team. there's some. I really wish the league could figure out how to get that Washington, New York game to last game of the year.
Yeah, right. That'd be great. We do play the Cowboys at the end of the year. It's still a big game.
Unless the Cowboys, again, we said the Cowboys are locked, so maybe
They
they
could
rest
lose
their
out.
starters.
Give us the dub. I'll take it.
If they rest their starters, that would be a big
Dak in his finger.
That would be a big help for you because I counted that when I was doing my guesstimate. That counted that as a loss for you. So, and I didn't even take that into consideration. Some of these teams resting starters at the end of the year. That's like when the Eagles rested against you guys to knock the Cowboys out of the playoffs last 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think.
Yep. So it'll be an interesting run to the finish to the year. It's your typical NFL season. You got some good teams, you got a lot of bad teams, and you have just enough teams right in the heat of things. Man, could you imagine if Washington had a legit quarterback?
Oh, who you telling? If Carson Wentz actually worked out, which is not over yet. I don't think his story's over in Washington quite yet, but next year is going to be the sign for that.
We'll see. While we're here chit chatting, because it's just the two of us, no sassafras to interrupt us. Right now, as the season stands, who's your MVP?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think he's right now. I'm not looking into the future and guessing. I'm just saying if I had to, now that I have a vote, but if I had to vote today, Jalen Hurts.
It was Mahomes as of last week, though. But after this past week, just watching Jalen Hurts is just he's clearly the best person doing it right now on all levels. And when he just brings that Eagles team, in case wide receivers aren't getting open, it's okay. I'm gonna run the ball for 100 yards.
I mean, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. He has 29 total touchdowns and 4 or 5 turnovers. That's pretty ridiculous.
Tom Brady gave him recognition on a podcast the other day.
Well, this is the thing with Jalen Hurts. He's just last year, and this is actually, I just remember what I wanted to talk about. This is a good segue. Just last year, the Eagles were going to play good defense and run the ball down your throat. They got arguably their worst matchup in the playoffs, the Buccaneers, who, as of last year, you could not run the ball on the Bucs. They got Vita Vea, Devin White. They're just Antoine Winfield, Levante David. They were just a brutal team to try and run the ball on, and Eagles couldn't, and Hurts wasn't there yet. This year, it's look what he did against the Packers. He ran all over the Packers. I think if you watched that game, it could have been way worse. Like there were times where it looked like he was just like, I did enough. Like I think if he was playing riskier, like if this was a playoff game, I think he could have gone way off. Like more touchdowns, more rushing yards. Yeah, for real. And it's just so much of their game plan is built off of him with these reads, RPOs. He takes shots, but it's like calculated shots. Like they're not. How often do you see him throw a ball and like you're like, oh, it got completed, but it was close. Most of the time, he's hitting the right guy.
Putting where he needs to be.
And I'm really impressed with how he's doing. Where I wanted to move to, one big thing the Eagles did, you have a young quarterback, you want to help him out, take the next step, get him an elite receiver. Eagles make that trade first night of the draft. We were covering it. We grab A.J. Brown, his boy. So you get him a big body, explosive wide receiver, makes the rest of the game easy.
It doesn't help that Devontae Smith took that next step. I mean, he had a great rookie season, but he really turned into that route running machine. Then you got Quez Watkins,
his
fastest player in the
touchdown,
league probably, besides Tyreek Hill.
Devontae Smith's touchdown against the Titans. It didn't look. It
First
wasn't
touchdown of the game, right?
It wasn't anything crazy, but he's running his route and he's attacking the corner, and he just throws a little fake with the head, like he's gonna run towards the sideline, and it's just enough to get the corner to look towards the sideline, and he breaks off his route. Not hard. It's not even hard inside.
Smooth.
He just goes inside the corner. Cornerback has to do a complete 360 to readjust. And at that point, professional wide receiver, wide open, catches the ball, hits the brakes, gets in for the end zone for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just Eagles got Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. He goes off. Go back a couple years, Josh Allen, similar career paths. They grab him. They go and trade for Stephon Diggs. It's like jet fuel for his career. He's all of a sudden passing better, opens things up. Look at Tua Tagovailoa on the Dolphins. They trade for Tyreek Hill. Tua
and drafted Jalen Waddle.
Tua arguably, yeah. Tua now he's in the MVP race, but realistically, right now he's not really. He missed.
Getting knocked out didn't help.
Yeah, historically, if you miss games, it's hard to win an MVP. I mean, if you miss multiple games.
Yeah, definitely a little shaken up. It seems too. He's not back to his full 100.
Let's look at. Trying to get some more options.
Mahomes is still playing pretty well. Pretty good football overall. Joey B maybe resurging into the talks.
Yeah, well, and you look at Joe Burrow. He has Tyler Boyd. He had Tyler. Chase. They had T. Higgins. They had Jamar Chase. Opens up the offense, makes things easier.
Talk about getting that weapon. Still, yeah.
There's more options. I'm just drawing a blank. So I just wanted to say this is like, if you look at these GMs, they have a young quarterback. They want to win now. You want to win when they're on their rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a proven commodity in this league. Like, if AJ Brown was a first and a third, like, that's ridiculous. That's all it cost him. Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile,
it helped he was on a contract year.
That's true. Not to be that guy, because I feel like I do it a lot. Look at the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's a league MVP, a franchise quarterback, face of the league. Somewhat struggles passing. He has Mark Andrews, but where's the big play receiver?
If Rashad Bateman could have stayed healthy.
That's the thing. They had Hollywood Brown. Brown, but he couldn't stay healthy. He had issues with drops, and he would make explosive plays here and there, but there was gaps in between. Trade him. They have Rashad Bateman. Can't stay healthy. Has some issues with drops. Makes a couple of explosive plays, but it's not consistently part of his game.
Kyler Murray in Arizona when he got DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Kyler Murray, he got DeAndre Hopkins. Targets him maybe a little too much, but he's going off. You
see what happens when you take that number one away too, even though Aaron Rodgers isn't so young anymore. See what you saw what happened to the Packers after Devontae Adams left. Even with a decent defense, their team is not doing good.
It's all about keeping your quarterback happy. Like, look at Rodgers when he had Devontae Adams. Look at Rodgers when he had Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson was his boy.
I miss Jordy Nelson.
He consistently was hitting like 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns every year for his short prime. I jokingly told Trevor, if I was the Chargers after the season, I call up the Eagles and I offer them Mike Williams and 3 first-round picks for AJ Brown.
Jesus.
But it's not insane.
Yeah, well, people said I was insane for drafting him so high in fantasy. Look at me now.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's just I want to talk about the Chargers. I maybe after the season ends,
Allen was the guy and Mike Williams was the guy until they just can't stay on the field.
I think after this season ends, I'm going to do like a deep dive into the
curse of San Diego, former San Diego now.
The curse of the Chargers, just to figure out if I can find, like, if I can break that curse, I would be a hero to so many people.
It was when Sean Merriman gets caught doing steroids.
Yeah, and then
maybe it was when Eli said, "I take this team I want to trade and not curse it forever."
I'm not playing for San Diego.
Yeah, and cursed it.
But yeah, interesting part. We're in the meat of the season.
A lot of drama about to go down.
Anything else you wanted to throw out?
Just don't F with the NFC beast. Best division in football. Respect it.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to be in the AFC South. I'll take the chance. I'll take the division.
It's just nice because we were the NFC least for 2 years. Everybody wanted to make fun of us for
but for like
we
15
fell off
years,
of our high horse. I get it.
For like 15 years, everyone was saying NFC East is the best division of football, and
people
people
go back to the old days. We dominated back then too, before our time.
Yeah, people just wanted a chance to take a shot at y'all. But
guess while we're down, come back.
That does it for the show today. This is No Interference. We're your hosts, Westside and the Bull. No Sasquatch today. Maybe we'll replace him. I don't know. But
talk about hot seat. He's on the hot seat.
We're moving into week 14 of the NFL season. Thank you to all of our viewers and listeners. We appreciate the support. If you enjoyed the episode, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow us on social media at the NI Show. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Try and drop some nice little highlight reels and tidbits for you if you're into that. But as usual, thanks for taking the time to give us a listen. We really appreciate it. But that does it for today. So adios.
Peace.